Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Scream Queens review. Today it is Season 1, Episodes 12 and 13, Dorkus and the Final Girl or Girls. And this is it for the season, and I have to say, overall, I was pretty satisfied with the conclusion of this. I was just slightly disappointed in a few things, but overall I thought this was an excellent end to the season, and I'll get into all that as I point out what I thought worked and didn't work throughout the episode. So, we basically started back where we ended last time with Pete and Grayson. Pete explains his part in the plot and all his motivations, and this was pretty interesting stuff. And we learned why Pete decided to do this. Basically, the Chanels played a joke on him, which I thought was satisfactory. And Grace isn't buying any of this and isn't happy about it. But when Pete's about to reveal more, he is eliminated. I thought this was a bit surprising that he went so quick in the episode, although, like I said last time, I never really thought that he would be involved in the very end twist. So then we go to Chanel, who's not happy about her failed plan with the Dean, and she calls out all the Chanels for this, and when her comments are accidentally made public, she's in a little bit of trouble. So this leads her to want to visit Melanie Dorkus, who we haven't seen in a long time, later in the episode, and Zayday, of all people, gives her a pep talk, which I thought was humorous. And then there's this weird scene with a fake killer, which I didn't like at all. It seems out of place, and it really didn't work. It just felt like filler at this point, and like they're trying to fill time because they don't want to reveal everything yet. But fortunately, everything was good from there. Grace and Wes have a chat, and Wes defends Pete, which is kind of odd. Wes is really strange throughout this whole episode, and he's very strange here, and he gets even more strange when he seduces the Dean in the next scene. And I guess if you're going to do it, Roxette and Michael Bolton are a fair way to go. That's all I'll say about that. We find out this was a distraction by Wes to let Grace and Zayday get some information, and now they think they have proof as to who the killer. In the meantime, we get Chanel, who's on her visit with Melanie, and we get references to Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and the Toxic Avenger. Wow, that's going back a ways. And it turns out that Chanel attacks her and thinks that Melanie is the killer. This scene worked pretty well. It was abrupt, but it was kind of funny, and it was nice to see a character from the first episode back. But Melanie is saved before Chanel can finish her off. Grace and Zayday come in and say, "We have proof. We know who the killer is. It's Hester." The only problem is when they go back to the house, they find Hester there, basically attacked by the killer, but the killer couldn't finish her off, and basically Hester points to Chanel number 5, so now we are led to believe that she is the killer. A nice ending to the first half of this two-part final episode. So this takes us halfway through the episode, and we start the second half out with a twist right away. And I have to say it was a brave move by the writers to go in the direction they did. We find out not only has Hester survived, but that she is the other killer that we weren't sure about. And we also see Zayday, Grace, and the Dean there, so we know that all these characters survive. I didn't expect this till closer to the end of the episode, but I think it worked. The flashback scenes we saw here that reveal the whole plan worked really well, I thought. I thought this was very well done, and we got to see some characters we haven't seen in a while in the flashbacks, like Gigi and Boone, so that was pretty cool. So at this point, Chanel number 5 is in hot water because of Hester's accusation, and then Hester comes back into the room as we jump in the timeline, as we'll do throughout the rest of the episode. And not only is Chanel number 5 in trouble, Hester now accuses Chanel Oberlin and Chanel number 3 as well. And I thought these scenes were done pretty well for the most part, each accusation and the evidence mounting against them, although there were a couple of weird scenes with some fake parents and some real parents that I thought were a little forced, but I guess they were okay. It's Scream Queen, so you just got to accept certain things for what they are. I will also say that Denise was very funny throughout her scenes in the episode. She probably could have used a few more of them, and the scene where she decides to have the Chanels taken away, this happens to the song Toy Soldiers. Need I say more? That in itself was a scene worthy of watching the entire episode. The soundtrack was absolutely superb in this episode and reminded me of the first couple weeks of the show. You need more of that, Scream Queens. You need more of that. So then we get a scene which jumps in time again, and we see Chad Radwell, who we have not seen, and I have to say my biggest complaint was that Chad was very underused in these episodes. I would have liked a lot more of him, and we find out his side thing with Denise is pretty much over. This was a funny scene. We also get closure on Chad as he creates a new charity, which was pretty funny. And we find out that the dean writes a book. Well, not really, but she takes credit for it, so that's cool. And things just seem to really be good until the dean confronts Hester and tells her, I know it was you that did it, but basically Hester has something on her, so they just leave it at that. This was a fine ending for these characters who are both survivors. So congratulations on that. Well thought out, Hester. And the dean, she's a survivor. So this fits with her character. Then we get one final Grace and Wes scene, and it fit with their other scenes in the show. It was nice. I liked how Grace thought she was getting a car. That was pretty humorous. And we find out that Wes really did grow to like the dean as they're going away together on a trip. So good for him. Way to rebound off Gigi. Nice job, Wes. And then we go to the end of the episode, which I thought was pretty good, although a little bit odd and not what I expected. But that doesn't make it bad just because they threw me a twist. We find that Chanel's in court, and I thought it was humorous how they were going to be found not guilty, but because Chanel interrupts and pretty much insults the jury, they change the verdict to guilty. But not to worry, because the Chanels are going to be taken away to an asylum because the judge says that they are crazy. Only what I really thought was funny about this is Chanel and Chanel number 5 are not happy, but Chanel number 3 seems kind of okay with this, which fits in with her character, and they are taken away to the Breakfast Club, that the famous Breakfast Club song. That's all I'll say about that. Once again, a great musical choice, and that is also another reason to watch this episode. That alone. So we get the final part of the story, which I thought was all humorous. It was funny. Chanel's number 3's ending was funny, and the scene between Chanel and Chanel number 5 getting along was also funny. So we figured that's going to be the end, but it's Scream Queens, and we get one more twist ending at the end that probably made no sense at all, which fits this show perfectly. So all in all, I was satisfied with the finale. It took a different direction than I thought it would, but it was funny and entertaining, and I was overall happy with it. My only complaints about this series as a whole would be that I never feel it lived up to its full potential. I thought the first few episodes were great, and the last couple episodes were really good as well. But I felt like a lot of the stuff in between could have been a little better. It was spotty. And ultimately, the show was just a very good, entertaining show, but I never felt it hit that greatness level. And I thought after the pilot that it really could have. But overall, I'm glad I watched Scream Queens. I would like to know what you guys thought of the show overall. I'm going to give these final 2 episodes a 4 out of 5. I thought most of it worked and it was fine. So please let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and I'd like to thank anybody who watched any or all of my Scream Queens videos. Thanks for watching.